Hello, Archie Dunlop here with Talking Astrology with Archie on Tuesday, September the 19th, 2023. Today, in this short video, I want to talk about the fact that the autumnal equinox is upon us. In fact, on Saturday or even Friday, depending on where you are, the autumnal equinox happens. And now the autumnal equinox is when the sun crosses the celestial equator, when its declination is zero. When it's above the celestial equator, it's got northerly declination. When it's below, it's southerly declination. And at the equinox, it's zero. And at that point, the hours of night, the hours of light and darkness are equal. That's why it's called the equinox. Now, I should apologize for my northern hemisphere bias. I'm in the northern hemisphere. If you're in Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Brazil, it's kind of the spring equinox, but the convention is to set it from a northern hemisphere perspective. So I do apologize for the northern hemisphere bias, but I will continue to call it the autumnal equinox. So why is it important? Okay, it's important by the fact that you've got equal night and day, light and darkness, night and day. That is important. From a sort of a symbolic perspective, that precise moment when it crosses the equator, it's like the gates are open. The gates to the cosmos. Whatever's in the cosmos is going to flood into our material realm, for better or for worse. So you kind of could look at the positions of the planets at that precise moment and get some idea about what the next maybe 3 months are going to be like, between the autumnal equinox and the winter solstice, which is at the end of December. So it gives us an idea about the next 3 months. Now, if you happen to be into ritual magic, the occult, that kind of stuff, this could actually be quite an important time for you, because if you're planning rituals, celebrations, or whatever, you should, of course, plan them around that precise moment. It's often the case that, people who say they're into magic and all that kind of stuff, they like to make it convenient for themselves. So they want to celebrate the equinox at dawn, or maybe sunset, or beginning of the day, or whatever. No, that's no good. You have to celebrate it at the exact moment, because that's the only moment when the gateway is open. So you've got to work out what that time is. Yeah, that might mean you have to get up at 4 in. Too bad. Or you might have to get up at 7 in if you're a late morning person. If you're an evening night person, you might have to get up really early. You might not get much sleep, but that's the sacrifice you have to make. So in this video, it's a short video, I just want to tell you what time the equinox is, depending on where you are. If I don't tell you what time it is and you still don't know, you can ask in the comments and I'll try to tell you. So I want to tell you what time it is. And I want to give you my ideas about what the equinox might be about. Again, I'm not saying it's going to be particularly amazing. I think there are some important issues going on with this equinox. But that's my plan. It's not a long video. So let's have a look at what's going on. Now, you will see that I have put a picture of the planet Jupiter there. The reason being is because I think the planet Jupiter is going to be very important for this equinox, as I will be as I will be telling you very soon. Now, as far as timing is concerned, you will see that this is a chart set for London. This is the equinox, the precise moment, which is essentially 7:50 a.m. So if you're in London, if you're in England, the key point is 10 to 8 in the morning. If you're in Paris or Berlin, it's going to be an hour later. It's going to be 10 to 9 in the morning. If, on the other hand, you're in New York, that's going to be 2:50 a.m. So, from a sort of ritual perspective, if you're on the East Coast and you want to celebrate the equinox, too bad. You're going to have to be around at, you're going to have to be up at 10 to 3 in the morning on Saturday. If you're in Los Angeles or Portland, Oregon or Seattle, then the equinox is actually not on Saturday. I mean, these times I've just been talking about are for Saturday, September the 23rd, 2023. If you're on the west coast of America, it's actually on Friday night at 11:50 p.m., which is great. 10 to 12 at night, perfect time to have your celebrations. You're not going to lose any sleep over that. So yeah, count yourself fortunate if you're on the west coast of the United States. One other place, Sydney. If you're in Sydney, Australia, it's at 4:50 p.m. on Saturday. So, what's it all about? What does this chart mean? Well, here you can see the sun in Libra, because the equinox, by definition, the autumnal equinox, by definition, is the precise moment when the sun goes into Libra. The moment the sun crosses the celestial equator, that split second is a moment the sun goes into Libra, when it's going from south to north. It's likewise at the end of March, at the beginning of spring, the spring equinox. That is the precise time when the sun moves into Aries. Now, the reason why Jupiter is so important, I mean, have a look at Jupiter. Jupiter is at 15 degrees 0 minutes Taurus. Now, that means that the Sun and Jupiter are actually exactly 135 degrees apart. 135 degrees is 3/8 of the circle. Remember my cake analogy that I often talk about. You've got a cake, cut it into 8 equal pieces. That represents 3 slices apart. So I think this equinox is going to be about quite extreme and exaggerated behavior, I think people are going to be really pushing it to the absolute maximum to get the results they want. Remember, Jupiter is in Taurus. Jupiter is incredibly stubborn in Taurus. Jupiter wants results regardless. So if you think about that gateway, Jupiter is at 135 degrees from the Sun, or it's 45 degrees from 0 degrees Aries. So the full power of Jupiter is going to be rushing through the gateway. Is that, I know Jupiter's supposed to be a fortunate planet, but I'm not convinced. I think it's going to be over the top. I have a feeling it might be quite destructive. So we have to be careful there. Why? Well, it's not just that the Sun is 135 degrees from Jupiter. It's the midpoints that concern me. So let me just show you what I mean with midpoints. Let me just open this up, make it bigger. These are the midpoint trees. Just don't panic. Don't panic. Let's just show you what I mean. You see, there's the sun midpoint tree. Can you see that? I'll make it. See if I can make it even bigger. See, the sun is exactly on conjunct the Mercury-Mars midpoint. It's also aspecting the Saturn-Pluto midpoint. Got that? Now look at Jupiter. Jupiter is also, because they're exact, is also on the Mercury-Mars midpoint. And it is also, it's square the Saturn-Pluto midpoint. So the Sun and Jupiter are hitting the Mercury, Mars and the Saturn-Pluto midpoints. And that completely colours it completely colours this autumnal equinox and how it's going to influence the world. So going back to the chart, let's make it a bit smaller now. There you can see there's Mercury, there's Mars. You can see Sun is right there, right in the middle, and likewise you can see that Saturn and Pluto, that's the midpoint in the middle, and so Jupiter is square that. The Sun is sesquiquadrate that. So those two planets are hitting the Saturn-Pluto midpoint. You know, Saturn-Pluto is about really struggling to create something, to make things happen. You put Jupiter there. Jupiter just is not going to stop. And I think that's going to be a big element of what this autumnal equinox is really about. We can look at other things in this chart. You can see that Mars in Libra is conjunct the South Node. That is about inappropriate use of energy, putting energy into the wrong things. If you're into Chiron, you'll notice that Mars is opposition Chiron. So Mars is about how we assert ourselves, and it's opposition Chiron. Through asserting ourselves in the wrong way, we could get hurt. I think that is a real possibility. I think those are the main themes about this. The moon is in Capricorn during at the moment the autumnal equinox happens. Moon in Capricorn, quite materialistic, quite a lot of self-interest there. A lot of people are going to be doing whatever it takes to get what they want. So, overall, I do think that this is quite a difficult autumnal equinox. On the plus side, Venus is at 1826 Leo. Chiron is at 1829 Aries, and so you can see that there's a Venus-Mars sextile, and Mars is opposition Chiron. So this is what's in the sky. So this is what's going to get hard baked into what's going on here over the next 3 months. So Venus-Mars, it's a good time perhaps for relating. If we understand the times, I think there's a certain necessity for a certain amount of sacrifice here. We can't just throw around our energy left, right, and centre because we'll get hurt. But Venus is sextile Mars, so I think that if relationships are important and you go about things in the right way, I think there's a good chance of success. Venus is trine Chiron, so there are two ways of looking at it. You could say that relationships represent some kind of wound, but Chiron is about healing, and so the right relationships can actually be very healing, and so I don't mean that, I mean, I know it's a big cliche to say that healing relationships, all that kind of stuff, but it's Venus trine Chiron. That works. I mean, that's fine. I don't think that's a cliche. And yeah, Chiron is opposition Mars. So if you want to get involved in relationships, good relationships, it's all about healing. It's all about how you can, what you can do for the other person. It's not about selfishness, because there's so much selfishness around in general over the next 3 months. It's not just people being selfish. It's about states being selfish, states doing whatever it takes to pursue their national interest. So, don't fall for the trap. Do what you can to make the world a better place, and focus on small measures. See what you can do to help other people. So that's all I'm going to say about the autumnal equinox. I said this video was going to be quick, and I think it was. And I will talk to you again very soon.